Hi guys, before the video starts, I'm going to say I do a fair bit of rambling in this video and I just talk a little too fast and I do slow my speech a tiny bit. It's really stupid of me. I know I'm not the greatest commentator, but yeah, if you don't like the way I commentate, I'm really sorry on that guys, but I hope you guys do going to enjoy the video. Hey guys, what is up? It's SOLAX here, back for another video, and if you guys do go to enjoy the video, don't want to hit that like and the subscribe button. But yeah, the gameplay you're seeing in the background is a custom game that's meant to help you with your aim and training yourself muscle memory wise and just gameplay wise and getting better aim. Now I'll get more into that later in the video, but the first thing I want to talk about is sensitivity and what Treyarch has done to change it compared to other COD games. Now, sensitivity in Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is obviously so much more different than it was in any other previous Call of Duty. Now, this is because they implemented a new feature where you can actually change your aim down sight sensitivity or your ADS sensitivity, and also the sensitivity of scopes such as the ones you use on a sniper. Now, the biggest thing that you need to consider is that it's not a fixed value as in some PC games or even some console games like Siege and PUBG. Now, what I mean is, if you have a look at the ADS sensitivity, it's 50% of what the regular sensitivity is. So if you like your ADS sensitivity, but you just want to change your general sensitivity up by 1, you'll be changing your ADS sensitivity as well. So now that we've got that out of the way, I'd like to talk about sensitivity in general. Now, people always associate that sensitivity, and now this is just controller and console sensitivity, not keyboard and mouse, because that's totally separate. Controller sensitivity as being whatever the user personally wants or uses is the best, and that's because they use it and they feel comfortable with it. And yes, straight off the bat, if you change the person from using 1 sensitivity to 20 sensitivity, they're going to play a lot less better than they did before. That's because they haven't changed it and they haven't adapted to use it yet. But as soon as they start adapting to a fixed sensitivity, they will obviously become better with it and possibly better than what they were before. This is due to what the sensitivity is. Say sensitivity here, my look sensitivity, they're both at 1, and my ADS sensitivity is at 4. So that's going to be 4 times 1, so that makes the value 4. Quick maths! So if I'm just looking around and it's really slow, but then I go to aiming and then it's 4 times faster, that's going to put me off like so much more than you would expect, because you would want the reverse of that if anything, so you'd be able to flick onto people and slow down. Now, a big thing to consider with this is that there's actually auto aim or sticky aim. It isn't how it works in zombies where it just locks on to players, or sorry, NPCs. It actually just slows the sensitivity down when you go on people, and in COD's case it actually keeps the reticle on there for a little bit. So now that we have that out the way, the best sensitivity I reckon is between 6 and 10 for just a regular sensitivity, and then you want to have either 0.5 or 0.75. I highly recommend you don't leave it at 1, and obviously don't go above. If that's completely how you want to play, then play like that, but I would highly suggest trying something like this. Now, do keep in mind, I do use the Razer Wolverine Ultimate controller, which gives me the ability to have a longer stick, so my sensitivity is a little bit higher, so I can flick onto people, but also be precise with the longer stick movements. Now, even though it's just like a control freak, and control freaks almost do nothing for your game, I do it like this, I'm just used to it now. And yeah, I would highly suggest that you keep the range between it. If you use a longer stick, you probably want to opt for a higher sensitivity than when you don't use a longer stick, or if you have just a short stick, just a regular Xbox stick, then you probably want to be around 4 and 6, not 6 and 8. Now, this is just my personal opinion and what I think is better for you guys, and obviously leave target and aim assist on. Now, these both have their pros and cons. The biggest, pro of this is it just helps you. It's easier to aim. It auto locks onto people once you've aimed on. It stays on them for a little while. And the biggest con I have about aim assist and target assist is when you're aiming and someone walks past the target, that it just locks onto them as well, so it will throw you off. I'm sure you guys have experienced when a ruin grapples past you and you're already aiming at an enemy and the ruin goes past your reticle, it will lock onto the ruin for a couple of seconds, but it will obviously unlock because he's going way too fast for it to stay on there for the whole time, so it will throw you off in gunfights. But now that we have, your sensitivity configured and stuff like that, we can also talk about vibration and button layout. Now, I highly suggest that you turn off vibration, even though, vibrations aren't going to completely ruin your aim. They do have a negative impact, and, even if there's not any single player in this game at all, so there's not really any point to have, the immersion from vibration. So just turn it off, and it says here sprint cancels reload. I actually have that on. I don't know what it says off here. And this is when you're reloading, you can just sprint out if someone starts shooting at you instead of just having to reload and walk at normal pace. Now when it says button layout, if you're not using a SCUF controller or any controller that gives you extra buttons or anything, just put it on tactical. You're helping yourself out here. You're going to want to start drop shotting people. Don't completely prone, just crouch and stuff like that. You're gonna want to start drop shotting people and stuff like that. And also, if you're playing on a PlayStation controller, you can flip the bumpers and the triggers. Now, I know people love doing this back when Black Ops 3 was a thing, and it only really works on PlayStation because the bumpers on Xbox feel so weird if you use them as triggers. And pretty much when you use the bumpers on PlayStation, it directly goes down. When we use a trigger, it takes time to go down. That's why you can get trigger locks on my Razer controller and stuff like that. But yeah, I just have it on tactical so I can crouch when I'm in the middle of a gunfight and jump like that. And if you're using, you know, claw on your finger, I mean, I used to use claw, not gonna lie. Claw's amazing. It did hurt a tiny bit, you know, but customized controller, people who customize controllers like SCUF and people like that, they will say that it's really bad for your finger. And I mean, it kind of is bad, but it's not as bad as they make it out. They just want you to buy their product. I mean, you can't really blame them. But yeah, now that I have my sensitivity shown, I just want to, you know, get onto the next part, which is actual placement in-game and stuff like that. So yeah guys, we'll see you then. Now, I see a lot of people neglecting the minimap, and the minimap is probably your most important tool in this game. Playing without the minimap is like playing without legs and you're a soccer player. Like, you really can't do it. Alright, maybe it's not that bad, but the minimap is an insane tool that you must use if you really want to up your game. Now, the way I like to position myself in Call of Duty is usually flanking, going behind enemy lines, or just holding down an area. Unless it's search and destroy or a mode with one life, I never usually push too hard. Even though it's COD, the health increase makes it harder to take on teams of more than 2 people at a time due to them just being able to light you up while it's there. The next thing that I want to talk about is mostly just attachments in general. Now, the best or the 3 attachments that I think you should always include in some or at least 2 of your classes is definitely grip, stock, and quick draw. Quick draw makes you aim faster and gets you in ADS as fast as you possibly can, pretty much. And stock is really good for strafing around and just moving around, because you want to get as much movement as you can while an enemy is shooting at you, while you still can aim at them. And this really helps. And grip is just, you know, a nice add-on to help control recoil. Now, obviously not all weapons need it. There are some exceptions, so you can trade for other attachments down the line and stuff like that. But you just want to make sure that when you build classes and you really strive for as much precision and as much aggressive plays you can go with your aiming, that you have at least stock, grip, or quick draw. Now, a rule that I like to have is I have 2 of those 3 categories used. So I might have a grip and quick draw, stock and quick draw. But yeah guys, that's pretty much going to cover it for attachments. I mean, you can have reticles how you want. I'm not one to complain about reticles. People like different reticles because it's just easier for them. When I'm using a sniper, I typically just use the sniper scope. I don't use recon, ACOG, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's it for attachments. But yeah guys, first I'm going to show you what class you're going to make for the custom game, because we're up to the custom game part of the video. Alright, so I personally just like to use the Titan. It has a lot of ammo, not too much recoil, and just extended mags, and yeah, extended mags too, so you can have a lot of ammo, so you don't have to worry about reloading, quick draw, and stock. And you can leave it iron sights, or you can put, you know, a reticle if you like. I just like to use iron sights, because that's just the way I am. And yeah, do keep in mind that you can just customize the classes how you want, but I just like this class the best. And also, you want to use the Mizzou, that's how you pronounce it, and just high caliber and long barrel until it gets to long barrel too. And then it's got a little special scope, you just want to use that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, do keep in mind you do want to definitely try out new classes and stuff, and I highly encourage you experiment with the settings and stuff, and have the perks on what you really want. I would obviously include scavenger, because you are going to be shooting a lot. And even though that I have the settings on 30 and 10 minutes only, I do encourage you to put it to unlimited. But I just like having it at 10 minutes and 30 so I can keep track of time. The biggest tip I have for anyone wanting to get better at aim is to simply increase the health as much as you humanly can. So you're focused on aiming on them more so you can kill them. So when you go into regular games, your aim will be better and you'll be focusing on people more. This helps out. Now, it's sad that you can only put the health up to 200, where in Black Ops 1, or sorry, in Black Ops 2 you could put it up to 200, but originally the health was already on 100, so it did make a bit of a big difference. But now since you can only move the health up, it will make a smaller difference, but that difference will actually count. But yeah guys, that's pretty much going to be it for the video. Now I hope this helps at least one person out there. If it doesn't, I guess it's going to be a waste of 4 hours of time. But yeah guys, if you do like these styles of videos, please comment down below, like and or subscribe. Without further ado guys, SOLAX signing out.